Me, 20 female, with my boyfriend, 21 male, of 4.5 years. He's unwilling to say yes to the little things that make me happy. A double date with my friends, dinner with my family, plus update. Background. He and I have been together since junior year of high school. We lived together at his childhood home with his mother and siblings for the past 2 years. Overall, our relationship is pretty harmonious. When I talk to other people about our SOs, I'm usually thanking my lucky stars for the guy I've got because we're compatible in so many ways and rarely fight. We all contribute equally financially to the running of the house, and this includes my obviously deep involvement in his family dynamic. I'm ever willing to help around the house and contribute positively to the needs of everyone in the household, especially boyfriend. I'm a people pleaser in all dimensions of my life, including our relationship. Boyfriend is not. I often joke that he must have some form of oppositional defiant disorder. I'm aware this is not a joke for those with actual diagnoses. Please don't take offense, because it feels as though the majority of the non-essential requests I make of him receive no's in response. Basic things like, "Can I borrow your laptop?" or "Will you pick up X on your way home?" are not the issue. But when I ask about girly, for the lack of a better description, stuff like going on double dates with friends or seeing my family, he utterly shuts down with no explanation. I'm never even graced with detail like, "I don't want to hang out with so-and-so because she annoys me," or "Your uncle's jokes aren't funny." He just straight up shuts down and says something along the lines of, "Nah, I'm all set, it's not gonna happen," or flat out, "No way." The most recent examples. My family threw a graduation party for myself, college, and my twin cousins, high school. Boyfriend also graduated from college this year, so my mom waited to take the opportunity to celebrate his achievement as well. She even painted his name on the beautiful congratulations banner alongside mine and my cousins, and he was included in the shower of cards and gifts coming from aunts and uncles. It goes without saying that my family has accepted him as one of us in the warmest way possible, and my mother lovingly refers to him as her son. This would be fantastic if my boyfriend had been willing to attend the party. I gave him several weeks' notice, even a 3-day countdown, if you will. Refused to attend, refused to justify or give any valid reasons why he didn't attend, other than the non-obligatory plans he made the same day for the sole purpose of avoiding the party. I was at a loss for how to deal with this besides attempts at verbal communication when I got home. Showed him the banner, gave him the cards, mentioned that my friends, a couple who will come into the story again soon, even brought his favorite beer to share because I'd mentioned it to them in conversation before. Said how much everyone missed him, how awkward it was for me to continually make up excuses for why he didn't come to a party thrown partially in his honor. In return, I got a half-assed apology and the subject was changed. I remained defeated because I didn't throw the pathetic crying fit that was brewing in my head, because those never get anyone anywhere. Fast forward to today. The same couple, I've hung out with them both, talked positively about this boyfriend of mine. They're dying to meet him and haven't yet. Same couple who brought boyfriend's favorite beer to the party he blew off. Suggested a double date for tomorrow night. I asked boyfriend. His answer was, "I'm willing to go out with you, but I don't want to see anyone else." Mind you, he hasn't even met these people, and I've never even had the chance to tell him much about them. We see each other every single day, so it isn't like he misses me and we're lacking alone time. I try several different angles to try and convince him that it could be fun. We've never been to the drive-in before. X cool movie is playing. It's only $6. We can smoke in the car. Jane and John Doe are such cool people. I think you'd get along great. Brick wall. I'm all set with that. Just stop. I'm not going, etc. No explanation or justification. No flexibility for different plans or a different night or any compromise whatsoever. Boyfriend is not, never has been, and never will be a whipped guy, and that is the last thing I'd want from a relationship. We lead independent, productive lives with separate jobs, friends, and school. This has worked for almost 5 years now. I rarely even ask for our friend groups to cross, only because I know that this is the result. I'll occasionally tag along on adventures with his buddies and ultimately see more of his friends at our house than my own group because he invites them over to work on cars, bikes, etc. in our garage and chill spot. And that's just groovy. I like his friends. They're my friends too. But if I try to reverse the situation and invite him out with my friends for co-situations, I'm not asking him to join us for matti-petties at the mall. He refuses to participate. If I have my friends over, he busies himself with anything but what we're doing. The same applies to his family. If he's seeing relatives or having dinner with parents, I'm almost always involved and welcome there. If I'm doing the same with my family, it's like pulling teeth to get him to participate. How do I actively tell him he's being a complete dick without sounding like just another typical whiny girlfriend? I feel like Story 1 comments or OP's replies. The real red flag here isn't just the refusal to participate, it's the complete lack of any explanation or compromise. I mean, I would want to know what's the reason here, because I'm all set with that isn't communication. It's just dismissing someone. And you say you're asking how to tell him he's being a dick without sounding whiny, but honestly, I feel like you've already tried the nice approach for years, and it seems to be going nowhere. Sometimes I think you gotta be direct, and that's simply it. It doesn't sound like he's very respectful of your feelings. I mean, you could have one clear conversation, just literally painting it out that I need you to participate in my life the way I participate in yours, and that's it. Otherwise, this isn't gonna work. I mean, the response might be, I'm all set with that, but at least you know where you stand. But the bird says, this sounds awful. I hate to be the person who jumps to break up, but he really doesn't seem like he's considerate of you or your feelings at all in terms of integrating himself into your life outside of his own. He knows these things are important to you and yet doesn't budge an inch. I think you need to have a serious convo about this. Does he have social anxiety, or is it just that he doesn't feel like going? Maybe you can get to the bottom of this and have a compromise, though it doesn't seem hopeful if you have to drag him tooth and nail to participate in these things. Perhaps, though, he doesn't quite see the severity of the issue yet. Can you imagine a future with someone who won't ever integrate your lives fully? OP says, on the grand scheme of our relationship, I don't think this is enough for me to break it off, at least not yet. There have been times where he's come along on these kind of outings, and he was fine after the initial teeth pulling to get him to going. I don't think it is a social anxiety, because I'm quite certain it's him saying to himself, I could sit through a movie with these people I don't know, or I could go do X fun thing with my buddies instead. I'm already fully aware that he's selfish in this way, and this is the most detrimental manifestation of his selfishness in our relationship. In many other arenas, he does put me first and considers my feelings, and this doesn't go unseen for me. I appreciate the of what he does, right? Maybe that's why this sticks out as so god-awful and painful, because it really is my only consistent complaint regarding your last point. That really is the scary part. I don't think I can, and I know better than to demand change. Another user says to OP, he does not value your feelings as much as his feelings. My SO had pretty bad social anxiety, like diagnosed bad, and he sucks it up and does I want to do because he knows it is important to me. Yours is seriously being a jerk. Mine has a panic attack and is like, no, we can go. I just need to calm down. I know how much you're looking forward to this. Yours is like, fuck, lady, I want to hang out with my friends instead. Your family sucks. Fuck, party. I'm not trying to brag here. I'm trying to illustrate a point. Someone who seriously loves you and wants to be in a partnership with you tries their very hardest to make you happy. He doesn't. OP says, I appreciate your frank assessment of the whole thing, and my only dissent is that he does try in other ways. He shows his love in so many other places, I just don't know how to make it clear to him that this gap is an important one that he needs to fix ASAP. When asked about the banner and told she's being submissive, he says, yeah, my mom hung it up for the whole party to see. I was tempted to take the section with his name down, but it was too late. I don't want this post to reflect too poorly on our relationship because I've mentioned in other comments, we're not entirely broken. Past issues between us that I've addressed have been taken care of head on, and he does contribute positive effort to the relationship in other areas, just not this one as of late. If your assessment of my submissive role is correct, what's your advice for addressing it? I want to assert to you that I'm not a complete doormat with him. I damn near moved out and left him last summer because of a lack of action on a totally different issue. And when I realized I was serious, he made the changes that needed to be made. And we haven't really fought about much until this point. And when I say we haven't really fought, I mean we haven't fought because there wasn't anything to fight about.
I wasn't just sweeping things under the rug for the sake of harmony. We've been having a very harmonious year since the last shakeup. But realistically, I can't just throw around ultimatums and pack my bags every 6 months when I don't get my way. So how do I shake 'em back to reality without getting overly dramatic? Now for the update.
I just want to thank everyone who took the time to respond and offer their advice. After a long talk, the result was to break up because he doesn't feel the same way about me anymore. I'm heartbroken, but my brain understands and accepts his reasons. I don't feel like writing the entire saga out. I just want to offer an update and thank everybody who was kind enough to try and help. Someone quotes that and says, "I'm glad you have a conclusion and you are your #1 priority. Take care of yourself." Story 2. Am I the asshole for telling my heavily pregnant friend her fiancé was in a documentary? Okay, it's currently 4 a.m. and I feel so guilty right now I can't sleep. Okay, so myself and a few girlfriends decided to watch a documentary that's been trending. Not gonna lie, I was expecting a documentary showing a human side of certain person, but yeah, as anyone who has watched the documentary knows what it was. On to the issue, my friend's fiancé was one of the 1,000. I wasn't the first person to notice, 2 other friends were. First to notice, I didn't believe it at first, but with a second watch, it was definitely him. Now, even though his face was covered, the body shape and especially the tattoos were undeniable. We debated till the early hours of the morning if we should tell her or wait because she's 8 months pregnant, but in my opinion, if someone cheats like that, it's not their first time, and I'd rather lose her friendship for telling straight away than her finding out I knew hid it because, let's be real, when you tell someone news like that, there's a huge chance they'll hate you, not the cheater. So this Sunday morning, I asked my friend to meet up to talk. I showed her the evidence, and the minute she looked at the picture, she knew it was him and broke down. I expected her to be angry at me, but she thanked me for being honest, as multiple people have hinted that she should watch the documentary instead of being upfront like I was. I ended driving her to her mom's house. I'm guessing she told her fiancé I told her because he has been blowing up my phone calling me an evil little homewrecker who ruined not only his life and calling me out on social media for trying to ruin his relationship and wanting his unborn daughter to grow up without a dad. My friends are angry with me for telling her straight away and not waiting till she had the baby in case the stress would harm her as she has had issues during the pregnancy and suffers from panic attacks, and if anything were to happen to her or the baby, I'd never forgive myself. I don't give 2 shits if I'm being honest about her fiancé, but I feel so bad for putting my friend in this situation while heavily pregnant, and I'm worried if something does happen to her, it will be my fault, like maybe she would have watched it herself and found out on her own. Am I the asshole for telling my pregnant friend her fiancé was in a documentary? Edit, the name of the documentary is in the comments with more info. I'm extremely tired and my mental health isn't too well right now, so I just can't be bothered to fix the post. Now for the comments. Fifth for Reading, the update. Comment 1. You wrote, "I'd rather lose her friendship for telling straight away than her finding out I knew hid it, and I expected her to be angry at me, but she thanked me for being honest, as multiple people have hinted that she should watch the documentary instead of being upfront like I was. So why does anyone else's opinion matter?" Comment 2. Our friend group are afraid that the stress would harm her as she has had issues during the pregnancy and suffers from panic attacks, and if anything were to happen to her or the baby, I'd never forgive myself. Comment 3. And this is somehow worse than encouraging her to watch it by herself without any support while she's pregnant? Yeah, okay. Comment 4. I think you did the right thing. There was a risk to her pregnancy, but she is far along and you would have gotten her to the hospital in time. You also saved her from other risks such as contracting an STD or giving her the opportunity to relocate out of city or state or Providence before the baby was born. Relocation becomes very difficult legally once the baby is born. You gave her the freedom to put the baby's care first. Now for the update. My friend's fiancé wasn't the only one of our partners to do the lineup. My boyfriend of 3 years was one, so was another friend's husband. 2 hours ago, he posted screenshots, a group chat, and photographic receipts no one could deny. Other men in relationships are involved. He said in the caption, "I wasn't the only one there," tags me. "Maybe check your own man before coming for my relationship," tags 5 other women. "I'm not taking the blame alone and being seen as the bad guy," while tags the men did the same. There was a lot more said, but I stopped reading and just deleted my social media account, then blocked my now ex. I don't want to hear his explanation. I feel so humiliated and physically sick. I don't know how I'm going to face the coworkers or clients at work tomorrow. I wish I could just disappear. My phone is going crazy, so I'm going to turn it off, go for a long shower, then see can I get any sleep for what I'm sure will be a hell tomorrow. Story 3. My college says if I miss class to testify on my assault trial, they'll drop me from my classes. Original post. I was sexually assaulted while home over a break, not by another university student, and the trial of my attacker starts in 2 weeks. I'm a university student about 5 hours driving distance from my hometown where the assault occurred, and I'll need to travel there to testify at the trial. I'd spoken to my advisor and all my professors, notifying them of the days I'd be out, and everyone was understanding, giving me take-home versions of any tests or work I'd be missing. Unfortunately, one of the days I'll likely need to be out coincides with midterms, so my professor was required to get approval from the academic dean and dean of the college to issue a take-home midterm. His request for the take-home midterm was denied, and when it came to the attention of these deans, they contacted all my professors and informed me if I missed that many classes, it would be approximately 2 of each class, maybe 3, depending on some court scheduling, and 4 of another class, but it meets every day of the week. My professors were comfortable marking these as reported absences, which basically means there was a justification like a doctor's note or other official documentation. I showed the deans that I was in fact being called to testify by the defense. Since it wasn't really like I had a choice, I figured that would be enough documentation. The dean said that personal, non-medical conflicts could not be counted as reported absences and would be treated as unreported absences, which is basically the same thing as if I just slept through class. They suggested I apply for a leave of absence for the semester because otherwise I'd be dropped from my classes at the 3rd absence and be on probation if dropped from 2 or more classes, school policy. This attack took enough from me already. I went to great lengths to be sure I didn't miss a day of school while recovering. I do not want this man to derail my life further by pushing back my graduation date. I spoke to the Title IX office, who'd promised me they could help me, but it turns out their idea of helping was helping me plan my leave of absence. I do not want to take a leave of absence. All my professors were ready and willing to work with me, and I was and am entirely capable of keeping up with the work. Do I have any legal recourse here against the school? Thank you in advance. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Comment 1. If it's one of the deans holding up the process, appeal directly but super politely via email, attaching your proof of court date and okays from your professors to the provost or president of the university. There's always an appeal process, informal or formal, at the university, and just because someone is a dean doesn't mean they know what the heck they're doing. Title IX coordinators, despite their "We're here for students" motto, ultimately are there to cover the university's backside in case of protected activity lawsuits so that they don't lose their federal funding. Same with ombuds. A firmly worded letter from the attorney to the supervisor of the dean denying your request should also do nicely. Colleges hate lawsuits over stupid stuff like this, and I promise you that the administrator who denied your request will get hell once it gets escalated. My best to you these next few weeks. Comment 2. Call the prosecutor for the case and tell your story. Perhaps they could A. Call the dean on your behalf, B. Change the date of your testimony, or C. See if video testimony could be allowed. Comment 3. It's more likely that the prosecutor will file a motion to continue the trial until a date that falls during OP's winter break. OP should contact the DA's office ASAP. Comment 4. I'm currently working as a prosecutor. I don't fully understand why you're saying that I was in fact being called to testify by the defense. Since you were the victim, I figure that the state, not the defense, would want you to call, but nevertheless, here's my 2 cents. A subpoena is a court order. Failure to comply with a subpoena could result in the judge issuing a body attachment for you and you being forced to come to court in bracelets. Probably won't happen for you because of the circumstances of your case, but even on a fair number of victims, I've certainly used that tactic before. Bottom line, call the prosecutor. Explain the situation that you're in. If the prosecutor is at all worth his or her salt, your university will find a way to make proper accommodations for you. Now for the update. Thanks to everyone's terrific advice, I got my university's ombudsman involved and also reached out to a local survivors group similar to RAAIN, who connected me to a wonderful attorney who facilitated between me and the legal services team at my school. Within a day of meeting with the school's general counsel, my attorney and I were invited to meet with the deans who had made the initial decision. One of my professors apparently saw my legal advice post and put two and two together. My professors were not previously aware of the full extent of what was going on, and he and my other professors submitted a letter on my behalf protesting the administration's decision, copying the board, ombudsman, legal counsel, and high-level members of the administration, which was so incredibly touching I'm still overwhelmed and trying to properly thank them. Between my professor's incredible gesture and me showing up with an attorney raising flags, at the meeting I was given carte blanche to work out the details of my absences between myself and my professors. I'll take them at school, just early, and two were able to give me modified assignments that could be done at home but still exemplified the same knowledge and skill sets. The ombudsman and the legal counsel assured me they're looking into the policy that caused this ordeal in the first place. The ombudsman in making sure the policy is being correctly and reasonably enforced, that is not used to coerce students into violating a subpoena, and the legal counsel is advising the administration on new guidelines for the policy so no one else has to experience this going forward. Thank you everyone here who took time to give me such helpful advice. I appreciate all of you.